Good afternoon. I'm Alan Unell, and this series of videos is Healthcare Advocacy, where we address problems in the healthcare system, take actions to try and make a better system for all of us. Before we get into today's topic, which is mostly women's health news, down below in the YouTube description box is a link to the Healthcare Advocacy newsletter, which is the text for today's video, and all of the reference material and backup material and studies, everything is in that newsletter. And of course, you can subscribe for free and have it delivered to your inbox most days. Okay, so let's talk about women's health news. About 2 weeks ago, we reported that the Biden administration was planning to form a new research activity into women's health. And they were going to allocate about $100 million. The First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, announced this. It was pretty big news because most healthcare research is actually done on males, and mostly white males at that. So when women present with different symptoms, doctors may not provide the correct diagnosis or treatment. This is certainly true with cardiac issues like heart attack. Women present very differently than men. And when women present with pain or chronic pain, they're often given sedatives instead of painkillers, as opposed to men who get painkillers. Anyway, that research is going to be funded through the Advanced Research Projects Agency for Health, or ARPA-H. So here's some more good news. On the 18th of March 2024, President Biden signed an executive order. This is more funding, aimed at expanding research and improving government initiatives on women's health. It's a move that, of course, coincides with the White House Women's History Month reception, so he actually announced it at the reception. The president's executive order will ensure that women's health is integrated and prioritized across the federal research portfolio and budget. Now, among the actions to be launched is an effort that will direct investments of about $200 million in fiscal year 2025, this is new money, to fund new women's health research. Biden has previously called on Congress to create a fund for women's health research at the National Institute of Health. So, promise kept and nicely done. This story actually came out of the Hill, and of course that link is there. I'd like to actually talk about medical disinformation a little bit. We all need to protect ourselves against disinformation, which seems to be there's a right-wing anarchy wing out there that is just floods the internet with disinformation, and a lot of it is in the medical world. So I'd like to keep an eye out for instances where claims online jump to conclusions without evidence. This is how to protect yourself. Look for claims that jump to conclusions without evidence or appeal to emotions. Now, Tara Kirksell is a senior scholar at Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, and she recommends this. When you see a piece of medical content online, you got to ask yourself, does any aspect of the message seem designed to hook you in? Does the message seem engineered to make you upset or concerned? Does the source actually correct itself when it makes a mistake? So you should pay attention and be cautious. Not every report and reporter has actually your best interests at heart. The next topic I want to talk to you about is called gain of function, and it is a research activity. It's actually called gain or loss of function. It's an area of medical research that investigates how to either add functions or take functions away from a particular organism. The organism can be a virus, that's typically what people use, but it can also be fungus or bacteria. It's particularly useful when developing new vaccines or treatments for cancer. Modified viruses can be made harmless to normal cells, but can be made to target and kill cancer cells. That's actually just tremendous. Anyway, in November of 2023, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives approved an amendment to the 2024 House spending bill that prohibits federal funding for all gain-of-function research, that which endows a pathogen with a new or enhanced property. Such restrictions could actually halt research pertaining to a wide variety of public concerns, including gene therapy, cancer treatment, and pandemic preparedness. More than half of the currently funded FDA-approved gene therapies are based on viral engineering, with several more in the pipeline. The approval, and forgive me if I mispronounce these, the approval of, I'm going to blow it, Sarepta's delandistrogene moxeparvovec marks the first gene therapy for Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. Can you imagine that? It's a life-limiting disease affecting about 1 in 3,300 male births worldwide. This revolutionary treatment is actually the result of gain-of-function research, and it enabled an adeno-associated virus to deliver a therapeutic gene to patients. You know, it's just amazing. Anyway, could you use gain-of-function to make a deadly virus? Well, of course you could. Could you drive your car onto the sidewalk and kill lots of pedestrians? Of course you would. But that's just not what happens. People don't do that. Okay, oncolytic virotherapy is also a promising and emerging class of anti-cancer immunotherapies. It relies on viruses that selectively infect and destroy cancer cells. This is such big news. Oncolytic viruses do occur naturally, but genetic modifications have improved their safety and specificity. Biovax, Amgen's, I'm going to mess this one up, I hope not, talimogene, lahathaperic, it's called T-VEC Limleject. It's an FDA-approved therapy for unresectable metastatic melanoma. It uses a genetically modified herpes virus that preferentially infects tumor cells to boost the anti-tumor response. Not only has this first-in-class treatment improved the survival rate of patients with advanced melanoma, but its success would not have been possible without gain-of-function research. Look, I'm going to go off the script and talk to you for a minute. I don't know if any of you have had cancer or known somebody with cancer, but radiation and chemotherapy they just beat the hell out of the patient. Here, you inject them with the virus that targets the tumor and makes the tumor die. This is just so outstanding. Anyway, if you want to read more about it, I've included a link to a Wikipedia article, which is pretty accessible. Part of the problem is that we need to make sure that the government doesn't halt this funding. So let's let our senators know that gain-of-function is extremely useful when studying vaccines and cancer treatments, and it should continue to be funded. In short, they should vote against any bill that contains an amendment that prohibits government funding for gain-of-function research. Down below in the resource section, you can find their contact information, or on your cell phone, all you have to do is send a text message to 50409, and the text message is SIGN, S-I-G-N, space P-L-A-U-O-F, and you'll send them an email that tells them just what I said. Please support gain-of-function research and do not vote for amendments that will halt it. This is something really important for all of us. That's pretty much what I have for you today. What I'd like to do is remind you to link, share, and subscribe. You can subscribe to Healthcare Advocacy, the newsletter, get it delivered regularly. Send me comments down below. I'd love to read them and I'll try to respond. And also, if you'd like, send me comments at healthcareadvocacy1@gmail.com. Thanks so much. Have a good evening.